Hey there, friend. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a mental loop replaying the same worry over and over like a song you can't get out of your head? You know those moments where your brain feels like it's running a marathon, jumping from, what if this happens to what if that goes wrong, leaving you exhausted, stressed, and nowhere closer to a solution. Maybe it is a decision you were agonizing over, like whether to take that new job or how to handle a tricky conversation with a friend. Or perhaps it, as a mistake from the past, that keeps creeping back into your thoughts playing on repeat until you're drowning in should-haves and could-haves. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Overthinking is something so many of us wrestle with, and it can feel like a relentless storm in your mind, clouding your clarity and stealing your peace. It's as if your thoughts are a runaway train, speeding through endless loops of worry, and no matter how hard you try to stop, the brakes just won't catch. I've been there myself, lying awake at night, my mind spinning with endless scenarios, each one more daunting than the last, until I'm too drained to even think straight. But what if I told you there's a way to calm that storm, to step out of the chaos and into a place of calm focus where you can actually hear yourself think? It's not about suppressing your thoughts or pretending everything's fine. That never works, does it? Instead, it's about finding a way to navigate the noise, to steer your mind back to a place of stillness and control. Stick with me, because I'm about to share 10 powerful Stoic secrets, time-tested wisdom from ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus that can help you conquer overthinking and reclaim your mental space. These aren't just abstract ideas or lofty quotes to scribble in a journal and forget about. They read practical tools you can start using right now to quiet the noise in your head and find a sense of peace even when life feels overwhelming. The Stoics were masters of the mind, living in times far more chaotic than ours. Think wars, plagues, and political upheaval. Yet they found ways to stay grounded, focused, and clear-headed. They understood that our thoughts don't have to control us. We can learn to control them, and that's exactly what we're going to explore together. Imagine this. Instead of being at the mercy of your overthinking, you're able to step back, take a deep breath, and see your worries for what they really are, often just shadows, not monsters. The Stoics teach us how to shrink those shadows down to size, how to focus on what we can control, and let go of what we can't, and how to find a quiet strength that cuts through the mental clutter. It's like having a compass for your mind, guiding you back to clarity no matter how stormy the seas get. So grab a cozy spot, maybe that comfy chair by the window where the light hits just right, or your favorite corner of the couch with a soft blanket. And if you're in the mood, pour yourself a warm cup of coffee or tea, letting the steam rise as you settle in. Let's dive into this journey together, exploring these Stoic secrets one by one, each a stepping stone to a calmer, clearer, and more focused you. By the end, you'll have a toolkit of strategies to tackle overthinking whenever it strikes, and you'll be ready to face life's uncertainties with a steady mind and a lighter heart. Ready to get started? Let's take that first step and see where this ancient wisdom leads us. Picture this. You're sitting at your desk trying to focus on work, but your mind is buzzing like a beehive, alive with a restless hum of thoughts that won't settle. You're worrying about a conversation you had yesterday, maybe a comment you made that you were now replaying and second-guessing. Or perhaps you're reimagining every possible way tomorrow's meeting could go wrong, from stumbling over your words to facing unexpected criticism. It's overwhelming, right? The weight of those thoughts can feel like a storm cloud pressing down, scattering your attention and leaving you drained before you've even started. The Stoics, those wise folks from ancient Rome and Greece who faced their own share of chaos, had a brilliant way to handle this mental turmoil. They believed you're not your thoughts. You're something deeper, something steadier, a core of strength that exists beyond the noise. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king who ruled an empire while wrestling with his own mind, once said that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. But here's the kicker. You don't have to let every thought take over and dictate your mood or your day. So, how do you do that? Imagine your thoughts as clouds drifting across a vast open sky. You're not the clouds. You're the mountain beneath them, solid and unmoving, rooted in your own resilience. Those worries, those endless what-ifs that spin out of control, are just temporary wisps passing by. They don't define you, and they don't have to stick around if you don't invite them to. When you catch yourself overthinking, try this simple yet powerful technique. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and picture that nagging thought as a cloud. See its shape, its edges, and then gently let it float away, carried off by an imaginary breeze. Don't wrestle with it. Don't argue with it. Don't try to fix it right away, just let it drift. This isn't about ignoring your problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that not every thought deserves your full attention. Some are just noise, distractions masquerading as urgent truths, and giving them space only amplifies their power. The beauty of this approach is that it creates distance between you and your thoughts, a mental buffer that lets you observe rather than be consumed. You start to see them for what they are: temporary, fleeting, and often not as important or real as they seem in the heat of the moment. Over time, this becomes a reflex, a natural response to the mind's tendency to spiral. You notice a worry creeping in, maybe about a deadline or a misunderstanding with someone, and instead of diving into the rabbit hole, you visualize it as a cloud, watch it drift, and let it go. It's like decluttering your mind, sweeping away the mental clutter to make space for clarity and peace. And trust me, the more you practice this, the easier it gets. With each passing cloud, you strengthen your ability to stay grounded, building a shield to protect your inner calm from the storms of overthinking. This Stoic practice doesn't just help you in the moment. It trains your mind to return to that steady mountain state, giving you a sense of control and serenity that carries you through even the toughest days. Anchor yourself in the present moment. Ever feel like your brain's a browser with a dozen tabs open, each one blaring a different video, all competing for your attention? One tab stuck replaying an argument you had last week, dissecting every word you said and wishing you'd said something different. Another's stressing about a deadline that's looming closer, whispering doubts about whether you'll get it all done in time. And then there's a third tab, spinning up some worst-case scenario that probably won't even happen, like bombing an important meeting or forgetting something crucial. But your mind treats it like it is inevitable. It's exhausting, isn't it? The constant mental chatter, the inability to just close those tabs and focus. It can leave you feeling overwhelmed, scattered, and drained before the day even gets going. But the Stoics, those wise philosophers from ancient Rome and Greece, knew this struggle well, and they had a simple yet powerful fix: focus on the now. Seneca, one of their sharpest minds, said, "True happiness comes from enjoying the present without anxiously depending on the future." That, as the secret, stopping the mental time travel that pulls you into the past or future and grounding yourself right here, right now, in the moment you're actually living. Here's how it works in practice. When you feel your mind spiraling, caught in that storm of overthinking, pick one thing to focus on. Something small, something manageable. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or a big task. It could be as simple as organizing your desk, clearing away the clutter to create a sense of order, or stepping outside for a quick walk, feeling the air on your skin and the rhythm of your steps. You might even try savoring your next sip of water, noticing its coolness, the way it feels as you drink, letting that tiny act become your whole world for a moment. The key is to pour your energy into something real, something tangible, something happening right in this moment, pulling your attention away from the chaos of what was or what might be. Let us say you were worried about a big presentation that has been keeping you up at night. Instead of imagining every way it could flop, stumbling over your words, forgetting your points, facing a tough crowd, shift your focus to what you can do right now. Maybe that's writing the next slide, choosing the perfect words, or practicing one line out loud, feeling the confidence build as you speak. That small, deliberate act pulls you out of the whirlpool of what-ifs and plants you firmly in the present where you have power. This isn't just distraction. It's about taking control of your mind, steering it like a ship through stormy waters. You're choosing where your mental energy goes, like redirecting a river to flow where you want it, rather than letting it flood everything in its path. The Stoics weren't about suppressing thoughts or pretending they don't exist. They were about managing them with intention. By focusing on what you can do right now, you're training your mind to stay present, to stay calm, to anchor itself in the reality of the moment. It's like working out a muscle. The more you practice this habit of presence, the stronger your mental discipline becomes. Soon you'll find those overwhelming waves of overthinking start to lose their power, their grip loosening as you cultivate a clearer, quieter mind. One grounded moment at a time. Let go of what's not permanent. Here's a truth we all know deep down but often forget in the heat of the moment. Nothing lasts forever. That argument you're replaying in your head, turning over every word like a broken record, will eventually fade into the background of your life. That deadline you're stressing about, the one keeping you up at night with its looming pressure, will pass once it's met. Or even if it's missed, life will go on. Yet when we're caught in the grip of overthinking, our minds act as if every worry is a permanent fixture, etched into stone like an ancient monument we can't escape. The Stoics, those wise thinkers from ancient times like Epictetus, had a different perspective. He taught that clinging to fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of loss, or fear of judgment, keeps us from truly living, trapping us in a mental prison of our own making. Their solution? Embrace the fact that everything, including your thoughts, is temporary, a fleeting visitor rather than a lifelong tenant, and learn to let go with grace. Think about it. When you're lying awake at night, your brain racing with worries about a decision you made or a future event you can predict. Those thoughts feel so heavy, so real, as if they're carving their place into your soul. But are they truly as solid as they seem? Try this visualization to test that idea. Imagine each thought as a leaf floating down a gentle river. It's there for a moment, catching your eye with its shape and color, then it drifts out of sight, carried away by the current. You don't need to grab it, hold onto it, or wrestle it to the ground. Just let it go, watching it disappear as you release your grip. This isn't about ignoring your problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that thoughts aren't facts, that they're fleeting. Like ripples in water stirred by a passing breeze. They don't have to control you or dictate your peace of mind. They can simply pass through if you allow them to. Practicing this takes courage, a quiet strength to resist the urge to cling to every thought that comes your way. It's not about giving up or surrendering to life's challenges. It's about choosing not to let unhelpful thoughts rent space in your head, evicting them with intention. Maybe you're worried about a mistake you made at work, replaying that awkward moment when you misspoke in a meeting or missed a deadline, letting it fuel a spiral of self-doubt. Instead of letting it loop endlessly, picture it as a leaf and let it float away down that river. Then ask yourself, what can I do right now? Perhaps it's drafting an apology to a colleague, fixing one small part of the problem, or simply taking a deep breath and moving forward. By letting go of what is temporary, those transient worries and regrets, you create space for what truly matters, your actions, your growth, your inner peace. Over time, this practice shifts how you see your thoughts. They're not chains binding you to a cycle of anxiety. They're just passers-by, visitors you can acknowledge and then release. You get to decide which ones to invite in, which to nurture, and which to watch drift away, empowering you to live with a clearer, calmer mind. Schedule your worries. Let's be real. Worries are like uninvited guests who show up at the worst times, barging into your mind when you're trying to focus on a project, enjoy a quiet evening, or even just get a good night's sleep. They hum in the background, constant and nagging, like a refrigerator that won't shut off, its low drone pulling you out of the moment and into a spiral of what-ifs and should-haves. It's exhausting, this endless mental chatter that follows you around, demanding attention even when you'd rather be anywhere else. The Stoics, those practical philosophers from ancient times, had a clever way to deal with this unwanted intrusion, inspired by Epictetus, who reminded us to prioritize our peace over pointless worry. He believed we have the power to choose what we give our energy to, and the trick he offered is simple yet effective. Give your worries a time slot, like an appointment on your calendar, and don't let them run wild all day, disrupting your life at every turn. Here's how it works in practice. Pick a specific time, say 20 minutes in the late afternoon, and designate it as your worry period. During those 20 minutes, give yourself permission to dive into your concerns fully. Sit down with a notebook or your phone, write them down, and think them through with intention. Ask yourself, what's really bothering me? How likely is this to happen, and am I blowing it out of proportion? What can I actually do about it right now or in the near future? You might be surprised at what happens when you face your worries head-on. Often they lose their edge, shrinking from towering giants into manageable shadows. It is like shining a light on a dark corner. Those fears that seemed so huge in the haze of overthinking become less intimidating when you break them down. Maybe you'll realize that the deadline you're stressing about is still days away, or that the argument you were replaying was a minor blip that doesn't deserve your energy. Here's how it works in practice. Pick a specific time, say 20 minutes in the late afternoon, and designate it as your worry period. During those 20 minutes, give yourself permission to dive into your concerns fully. Sit down with a notebook or your phone, write them down, and think them through with intention. Ask yourself, what's really bothering me? How likely is this to happen, and am I blowing it out of proportion? What can I actually do about it right now or in the near future? You might be surprised at what happens when you face your worries head-on. Often, they lose their edge, shrinking from towering giants into manageable shadows. It is like shining a light on a dark corner. Those fears that seemed so huge in the haze of overthinking become less intimidating when you break them down. Maybe you'll realize that the deadline you're stressing about is still days away, or that the argument you were replaying was a minor blip that doesn't deserve your energy. Outside of that worry period, though, you're off limits to those uninvited guests. If a worry pops up while you're working on a task, enjoying a meal, or relaxing with a book, gently tell yourself, "Not now, I'll deal with you at 4 p.m. It's like putting your worries in a box, closing the lid and setting it aside until it's time to open it again. This doesn't mean you will stop worrying altogether. Nobody is immune to the human habit of overthinking, but it means you are taking back control. You're deciding when and how worries get your attention, rather than letting them dictate your every move. It's a shift from being a passive host to an active gatekeeper, choosing to let them in only when you're ready to handle them. Over time, you'll notice they don't have the same grip on you. Those intrusive thoughts that once crowded your mind like a chaotic stage start to fade, giving way to a calm, open space where you can actually live, breathe, and focus on what matters. This Stoic technique trains your mind to respect boundaries, building resilience and leaving you with a clearer, more peaceful inner world. Turn big worries into small steps. Ever feel like your worries are a giant boulder sitting on your chest, pressing down with an almost physical weight that makes it hard to breathe or think straight? Whether it's a looming deadline that seems to grow larger with every passing hour, a tough conversation you've been dreading, or a big life decision that feels like it could change everything, overthinking can make it seem impossible to move forward, leaving you paralyzed in a cycle of doubt and fear. Your mind races, spinning out scenarios where everything goes wrong, amplifying the problem until it feels like an insurmountable wall. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who faced their own share of challenges, had a way to tackle this overwhelming feeling, and Marcus Aurelius summed it up perfectly. The obstacle in your path becomes the path. In other words, the very thing that feels so overwhelming can guide you forward if you approach it with intention, breaking it down into manageable pieces that don't loom quite so large. Here's the deal. When your mind's racing with a big problem, don't try to solve it all at once. That is a surefire way to deepen the spiral of overthinking. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what's the very next step I can take? Not 5 steps down the road, not the final outcome with all its unknowns, but just the next small move you can make right now. Let us say you re-stressed about a big project that has been keeping you up at night, your mind flooded with visions of missed deadlines or subpar work. Instead of imagining every way it could go wrong, focus on one small, actionable task. Maybe drafting an outline to organize your thoughts or researching one specific point to get a better grip on the topic. That single step feels doable, doesn't it? It's not the whole project, just a piece of it, something you can handle without feeling overwhelmed. And once you take that step, you've got momentum, a sense of progress that makes the next step feel a little easier. It's like untangling a knotted rope, one small tug at a time, and suddenly the whole thing starts to loosen, revealing a clear path forward. This approach isn't about pretending your problems are small or insignificant. It's about making them approachable, transforming a daunting challenge into a series of manageable actions. Each step you take chips away at that boulder of worry, until it is no longer a crushing weight but just a pile of pebbles you've already crossed over, barely noticing as you go. The Stoics weren't about avoiding challenges. They were about facing them head-on with clarity and deliberate action, refusing to let fear or indecision dictate their path. By focusing on the next step, you're not just fighting overthinking, you're building confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way one piece at a time. Each small win reinforces your resilience, proving to yourself that you can navigate life's obstacles without being consumed by them. Before you know it, that overwhelming worry that once felt so heavy is behind you, and you're standing taller, clearer, and stronger, ready to face the next challenge with a steady mind and a focused heart. Flip the script with gratitude. You know how your mind can get stuck on what's missing, like a broken record skipping over the same frustrating note? Maybe you refixating on what you didn't get done today, those unchecked boxes on your to-do list that seem to taunt you. Or perhaps you were caught up in what could go wrong tomorrow, imagining every possible misstep in vivid detail. Or it could be that you're dwelling on what you don't have yet, whether it's a promotion, a relationship, or simply a sense of calm you're craving. It's a trap we all fall into at some point, and it fuels overthinking like gasoline on a fire, turning a flicker of worry into a blazing inferno that consumes your peace. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, had a profound way to break this cycle and pull you out of that mental quicksand. Seneca taught that true happiness is not found in chasing what is next or longing for what is missing. It is about savoring the present, fully embracing what's already here. The tool to make this shift? Gratitude. It's like flipping a switch in your brain, moving you from a mindset of scarcity where everything feels lacking, to one of abundance, where you see the richness that already surrounds you. Here's how to put it into practice. Every day, take a moment to name 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small or ordinary they might seem. They don't have to be life-changing or grand. Sometimes the simplest things carry the most weight. Maybe it's the warmth of your morning coffee as it spreads through your hands, a quiet comfort on a busy day, or the way your dog greets you at the door with a wagging tail reminding you of a love that asks for nothing in return. Perhaps it's a kind word from a friend, a fleeting moment of connection that lifts your spirits more than you expected. These small moments are like anchors, grounding you in the present and pulling you out of the spiral of what's wrong into the reality of what's right. When you catch yourself overthinking, spiraling into worries about what you lack or what might go wrong, pause right there and list those 3 things. If you can, say them out loud. There's something about hearing the words that makes them feel more real, more solid, as if they're taking up space in the world. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good in the moment, it rewires how you see the world, shifting your perspective in a lasting way. Instead of being consumed by what's not perfect, those inevitable flaws and gaps that life always seems to have, you start noticing what's already good, the quiet blessings that often go overlooked. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses. Suddenly the world looks brighter, more vibrant, and those nagging worries that once loomed so large don't seem quite as imposing. Over time, this daily practice builds a foundation of contentment, a steady base that helps you weather life's ups and downs with greater ease. You're not ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. You're choosing to see the good alongside the challenges, creating a balance that keeps you grounded. That balance, that ability to hold space for both the struggles and the joys, makes all the difference, giving you the clarity and strength to face whatever comes your way without being overwhelmed by the weight of what is missing. Put your energy into what you can control. Overthinking loves to drag us into the future, doesn't it? We find ourselves obsessing over what might happen, spinning endless tales of what could go wrong, or anxiously imagining how things will turn out, as if we can somehow predict every twist and turn ahead. It's like we're trying to forecast the weather a year from now. Impossible, unreliable, and utterly exhausting, leaving us mentally drained and stuck in a loop of uncertainty. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, had a clear and practical rule for this mental trap. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. He urged us to stop merely explaining our philosophy and start living it, putting our energy into the actions we can take rather than the outcomes we can't dictate. This shift in focus isn't about ignoring the future or pretending it doesn't matter. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable, redirecting your mind to where your power truly lies. Here's how it works in real life, where these ideas meet the messiness of daily challenges. Let's say you're worried about a job interview, your mind racing with visions of rejection or awkward silences. You can't control whether you'll get the job. That decision rests with the hiring manager, a variable beyond your reach. But you can control how you prepare, how you present yourself, and how you show up in that moment. So focus there. Spend time practicing your answers, refining your responses to common questions until they feel natural. Pick out your outfit the night before, choosing something that boosts your confidence. On the day, give it your best shot. Walk in with a steady posture, a clear mind, and a willingness to engage. Ask yourself, am I doing my best? Am I acting with integrity, bringing my true self to this opportunity? If the answer's yes, you've done your part. The rest, the interviewer's mood, the company's needs, the final verdict, that's not your job to carry. Letting go of that weight allows you to move forward with clarity. This shift is incredibly freeing, like shrugging off a heavy backpack you've been carrying for no reason. It's straps digging into your shoulders until you realize you can set it down. By pouring your energy into your effort, your choices, your actions, the things within your grasp, you're not just fighting overthinking, you're living with purpose. Each step becomes its own reward, a moment of pride and focus, not just a means to an end that might never arrive. Whether it's preparing for that interview, tackling a project, or navigating a difficult conversation, the act of doing your best becomes its own victory, independent of the result. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, but your response to it is yours to shape. Over time, you'll find that worrying about outcomes feels less necessary because you're too busy doing your best in the moment, rooted in the present where your influence thrives. That, my friend, is where real strength lies, not in controlling the future, but in mastering your own actions and finding peace in the process. Embrace discomfort to build resilience. Let's talk about comfort zones. They're cozy, familiar, and safe, like a warm blanket you wrap around yourself on a chilly day, offering a sense of security that can feel hard to leave behind. But here's the catch. They can also be a breeding ground for overthinking, a mental trap where your mind thrives on the predictable. When we're faced with something new or uncomfortable, a new job, a difficult conversation, or even a change in routine, our brains go into overdrive, imagining every possible outcome, every potential failure, painting vivid pictures of disaster that keep us rooted in place. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who lived through their own share of upheaval, had a bold and practical way to tackle this, and Marcus Aurelius put it best. Life is more like wrestling than dancing. You've got to grapple with challenges head-on, engaging with them rather than sidestepping or avoiding them out of fear. Their solution? Choose discomfort on purpose, stepping into the unknown not as a victim but as a warrior, ready to test your strength. This doesn't mean jumping into extreme situations or throwing yourself into chaos for no reason. It is about intentional, manageable steps that stretch your boundaries without breaking you. Start small, with actions that nudge you out of your usual safe haven. Try a cold shower in the morning. Yes, it's a shock to the system, sending a jolt through your body. But it's over in a minute, leaving you with a surprising sense of alertness and accomplishment. Or skip your usual coffee run and take a walk instead, feeling the air on your skin and noticing the world around you without the crutch of your routine. Maybe sleep without your favorite pillow for a night, embracing the slight discomfort as a way to prove you can adapt. The point isn't to suffer or punish yourself, it is to show yourself that discomfort isn't the monster your mind makes it out to be. When you step into something challenging on purpose, you teach your brain to stay calm in the face of uncertainty, rewiring its instinct to panic at every unfamiliar turn. This practice is like a workout for your resilience, a mental gym where you build strength one rep at a time. Each time you choose discomfort, whether it's trying a new skill, speaking up in a meeting, or facing a fear head-on, you're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Your mind gets quieter, less reactive to change because you've shown it that you're tougher than your fears, that you can wrestle with life's challenges and come out standing. Over time, those what-if scenarios that once dominated your thoughts lose their power, their grip loosening as you replace anxiety with confidence. You start to see challenges not as threats to avoid, but as opportunities to grow, stepping stones that lead to a stronger, more adaptable you. This small shift, this deliberate choice to embrace discomfort, ripples outward with big results. Less overthinking, more confidence, and a mind that's ready for whatever comes next, equipped to dance with life rather than shrink from it. Zoom out to see the bigger picture. When you're caught in an overthinking spiral, it's like you're staring at a puzzle piece under a microscope, magnifying every tiny crack and flaw until it consumes your entire field of vision. That one detail, a mistake you made, a worry gnawing at you, a decision looming large, feels massive, overwhelming, as if it's the whole picture, defining your worth or your future. But the Stoics, like Seneca, offered a timeless reminder to shift your perspective. He wisely noted that we're not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting it on pointless worries, frittering away our precious time on thoughts that don't serve us. By stepping back and seeing your life as a whole with all its moments and milestones, you begin to realize that most of what you were stressing about won't matter in the long run. Those magnified troubles are just fleeting specks in the vast landscape of your existence. Try this. The next time you find yourself trapped in an overthinking loop, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? 5 years from now? Maybe you're stressed about a comment you made in a meeting, replaying it over and over, convinced it ruined your reputation or derailed a project. In the heat of the moment, it feels huge, a weight pressing down on your chest. But when you zoom out and consider the grand scheme of your life, your relationships, your achievements, your growth, it's a tiny blip, barely a footnote. This isn't about dismissing your feelings or brushing them off as unimportant. It's about putting them in perspective, acknowledging their presence without letting them dictate your peace. Life is fleeting, a series of moments that slip through our fingers faster than we realize. And every moment you spend overthinking is a moment you're not fully living, laughing with a friend, tackling a new challenge, or simply breathing in the quiet. This practice is like stepping back from that microscope and seeing the whole puzzle laid out before you, its intricate pieces fitting together to form a bigger, more beautiful picture. Suddenly, the one piece you were obsessing over doesn't seem so central anymore. It is just a small part of a larger design. You start to prioritize what really matters, the connections you build with others, the personal growth you pursue, the joy you find in the everyday. It is not about being gloomy or cultivating a sense of indifference toward life's ups and downs. It's about cherishing the present, embracing the here and now, and letting go of what's trivial in the grand tapestry of your journey. The more you zoom out, the less power your worries have over you. They shrink from towering giants to manageable shadows, losing their ability to derail your focus. This shift allows you to live more fully in the moment you're in, directing your energy toward what lifts you up rather than what drags you down. Over time, this Stoic habit of perspective becomes second nature, a lens through which you view life with clarity, resilience, and a renewed sense of purpose. Lean on the wisdom of others. Sometimes overthinking feels like being lost in a maze, a tangled labyrinth of thoughts where you keep turning corners, hoping for an exit, only to find more confusion lurking around each bend. You're trying to solve the puzzle alone, wrestling with every detail, analyzing a mistake, predicting a future outcome, or second-guessing a choice. Yet the more you dig, the deeper you sink into uncertainty. It's exhausting, this solitary struggle, as if you're carrying the weight of the entire maze on your shoulders, convinced that the solution lies solely within your own mind. The Stoics, like Seneca, knew this feeling all too well. Having faced their own mental battles amid the chaos of ancient life, Seneca offered a wise insight. When your own biases cloud your judgment, when you're stuck in that endless loop of overthinking, consult others. Seek wisdom from outside yourself. This wasn't a suggestion born of weakness, but a recognition of our human limits and the strength found in connection. The Stoics understood that we don't have to navigate every challenge in isolation, and their advice is a lifeline. Don't go it alone. This approach could mean reaching out to a friend you trust, someone who knows you well and can listen without judgment, offering a fresh perspective that cuts through the fog. Maybe it's a mentor who has been through what you're refacing, a seasoned colleague who has tackled similar decisions, or a family member with a steady hand on life always tiller. Or it might be turning to a book that stood the test of time, its pages filled with insights from those who've walked the path before, like the writings of Marcus Aurelius in Meditations, or Seneca's own letters. When you share your thoughts out loud, something magical happens. First, just saying them helps you make sense of the mess in your head. The act of articulating your worries, giving voice to that jumbled stream of thoughts, brings order, like untangling a knot one thread at a time. It forces you to slow down, to hear yourself, and often reveals the absurdity or exaggeration in what you've been obsessing over. Second, someone else's viewpoint can shine a light on things you didn't see, illuminating blind spots your own mind was too close to notice. It's like receiving a map to navigate that maze, a guide that shows you a path you might have missed while stumbling in the dark. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a recognition that we're stronger together, that our minds thrive when enriched by the perspectives of others. It's an acknowledgement that no one is an island, and leaning on others doesn't diminish you but amplifies your resilience. Maybe you're overthinking a career decision, torn between staying in a familiar role or taking a leap into the unknown, your mind racing with risks and regrets. Talking it through with a friend might help you see options you missed, perhaps a compromise or a new angle you hadn't considered. Or they might simply remind you of your strengths, boosting your confidence with a simple, "You've got this." A mentor could offer practical advice drawn from experience, like a roadmap tailored to your situation, while reading a Stoic text might feel like a conversation with a wise guide, offering timeless counsel to steady your nerves. Even a casual chat with someone outside the situation can break the cycle, pulling you out of your head and into a broader view. By leaning on others, you find clarity you couldn't reach alone, a clarity that dissolves the overthinking fog and replaces it with actionable insight. This practice transforms how you approach life's challenges. It's a reminder that you don't have to carry every burden by yourself. Sometimes, the lightest loads are the ones you share, distributed across the shoulders of those you trust. The Stoics saw this as a virtue, a way to live with wisdom and humility, and it's a lesson that still holds true. Over time, this habit of seeking outside wisdom becomes a reflex, a tool to navigate the maze with confidence. You stop seeing overthinking as a solitary battle and start viewing it as an opportunity to connect, to learn, and to grow. The result is a mind less burdened, more open, and ready to face whatever comes next with a sense of shared strength and renewed purpose. Your path to peace. So there you have it. 10 Stoic secrets to tame the storm of overthinking and bring a sense of calm to the chaos of your mind. From visualizing your thoughts as passing clouds drifting away without needing to hold on to them, to leaning on the wisdom of others when your own perspective feels clouded. These tools are all about taking back control of your mind and finding peace in the present moment. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who faced their own share of turmoil, weren't about chasing perfection or escaping life's challenges. They were about living well no matter what life throws at you. They understood that true strength lies in managing your inner world, in cultivating a mindset that can weather any storm with clarity, resilience, and purpose. That's exactly what these practices do. They empower you to step out of the mental whirlpool of overthinking and into a space where you can breathe, focus, and live more fully in the here and now. Each technique, whether it's breaking worries into small actionable steps or zooming out to see the bigger picture, offers a way to ground yourself, to stop being a passenger to your thoughts, and start steering the ship. These Stoic secrets are more than just ideas. They're practical strategies you can weave into your daily life, tools to help you navigate the inevitable uncertainties and challenges we all face. Maybe you'll find power in focusing on what you can control, letting go of the outcomes that are out of your hands, as Epictetus advised, freeing yourself from the weight of trying to predict the unpredictable. Or perhaps you'll resonate with the idea of scheduling your worries, giving them a designated time slot so they don't hijack your entire day, a method that puts you back in the driver's seat of your mental energy. Some of you might feel drawn to the practice of gratitude, taking a moment each day to name 3 things you're thankful for, shifting your focus from what's missing to what's already abundant in your life. Others might find strength in choosing discomfort on purpose, whether it is a cold shower or skipping a familiar routine. proving to yourself that you were tougher than your fears. As Marcus Aurelius might encourage, seeing life as a wrestling match where you grow through the grapple. No matter which resonates most, the beauty of these Stoic principles is their universality. They meet you where you are, offering a path to a clearer, more centered mind. Which of these resonated with you the most? Maybe it's the idea of scheduling your worries to keep them in check, creating boundaries for your thoughts so they don't run wild, or perhaps it's stepping into discomfort to build your inner strength, showing yourself that uncertainty isn't something to fear but to embrace. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below and let Iasia start a conversation about what's working for you. Sharing your experience might just inspire someone else who's struggling with the same mental loops, reminding us all that we're not alone in this journey. If you found this exploration of Stoic wisdom helpful, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so we can keep diving into these timeless lessons together. There's so much more to uncover, from ancient philosophies to modern strategies, all aimed at helping us live with greater intention and peace. Life's too short to let overthinking steal your peace, to let those endless mental loops drain your energy and keep you from the present moment. The Stoics remind us that we have the power to choose how we respond to our thoughts, to decide what we give our attention to, and to live with purpose even amid life's chaos. So let's keep learning, growing and living with intention, taking these tools and making them our own. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory, a step toward a life where overthinking doesn't hold the reins, where you're free to focus on what truly matters. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and keep moving forward, knowing that you're rebuilding a mind that is not just resilient, but truly alive to the beauty of the moment.